of Inanna by Wolkstein-Kramer. It's a Sumerian term. So, how's everybody doing today? It's a Sumerian poem. I thought I'd get people familiar with them. They predate the Bible by 2,000 years. Um, so it's a great bit of work, and the fact that the Sumerians were the first ones to have a written language, and I haven't found anything they wrote that was a lie in all these years. And so I tend to take some of this stuff to heart because they've not told lies, they've not wasted their time chiseling a lie in stone. So I tend to fall towards their readings rather than readings that I don't trust. Okay, so let's start now with the descent of Inanna. From the great above, she opened her ear to the great below. From the great above, the goddess opened her ear to the great below. From the great above, Inanna opened her ear to the great below. My lady abandoned heaven and earth to descend to the underworld. Inanna abandoned heaven and earth to descend to the underworld. In Europe, she abandoned her temple to descend to the underworld. In Bactabira, she abandoned her temple to descend to the underworld. In Zabalam, she abandoned her temple to descend to the underworld. In Adab, she abandoned her temple to descend to the underworld. In Nippur, she abandoned her temple to descend to the underworld. In Kish, she abandoned her temple to descend to the underworld. In Akkad, she abandoned her temple to descend to the underworld. She gathered together the seven me. She took them into her hands. With the me in her possession, she prepared herself. She placed the shugura, the crown of the step, on her head. She arranged the dark locks of hair across her forehead. She tied the small lapis beads around her neck. Let the double strand of beads fall to her breast and wrap the royal robe around her body. She daubed her eyes with ointment called Let Him Come, Let Him Come. Bound the breastplate called Come Man Come around her chest, slipped the gold ring over her wrist, and took the lapis measuring rod and line in her hand. And then I set out for the underworld. Nishabur, her faithful servant, went with her. And Nana spoke to her, saying, Nishabur, my constant support, my Sukal, who gives me wise advice, my warrior who fights by my side. I am descending to the Kur, to the underworld. If I do not return, set up a lament for me by the ruins. Beat the drum for me in the assembly places. Circle the houses of the gods. Tear at your eyes, at your mouth, at your thighs. Dress yourself in a single garment like a beggar. And Nana answered, Because of my older sister Ereshkigal, my husband, Gugulana, the bull of heaven, has died. I have come to witness the funeral rites. Let the beer of his funeral rites be poured into the cup. Let it be done. Nettie spoke. Stay here, Inanna. I will speak to my queen. I will give her your message. Nettie, the chief gatekeeper of the Kur, entered the palace of Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld, and said, My queen, a maid as tall as heaven, as wide as the earth, as strong as the foundations of the city wall, waits outside the gates. She has gathered together the seven me and has taken them in her hands. And with the me in her possession, she has prepared herself. On her head, she wears the shagura, the crown of the steppe. Across her forehead, her dark locks of hair are carefully arranged. Around her neck, she wears the small lapis beads. At her breast, she wears the double strand of beads, and her body is wrapped in the royal robe. Her eyes are daubed with the ointment, let him come, let him come. And around her chest she wears a breastplate called Come Man Come. And on her wrist she wears the gold ring. And on her hand she carries a lapis measuring rod and line. When the rescue girl heard this, she slapped her thigh and bit her lip. She took the matter into her heart and dwelt on it. Then she spoke. Come, Nettie, my chief gatekeeper to the cur. Heed my words. Bolt the 7 gates of the underworld. Then, one by one, open each gate a crack. Let Inanna enter. As she enters, remove her royal garments. Let the holy priestess of heaven enter bowed low. Nettie heeded the words of the queen. He bolted the 7 gates of the underworld. Then he opened the outer gate. He said to the maid, Come, Inanna, enter. When she entered the first gate, from her head, the shigura, the crown of the steppe, was removed. From her body, the royal robe was removed. Inanna asked, What is this? She was told, Quiet, Inanna. The ways of the underworld are perfect. They may not be questioned. Naked and bowed low, Inanna entered the throne room. Ereshkigal rose from her throne. Inanna started toward the throne. Oh, I'm sorry. The Anuna, the judges of the underworld, surrounded her. They passed judgment against her. Then Ereshkigal fastened on Inanna the eye of death. She spoke against her the word of wrath. She uttered against her the cry of guilt. She struck her. Inanna was turned into a corpse, a piece of rotten meat, and was hung from a hook on the wall. When after 3 days and 3 nights Inanna had not returned, Nishabur set up a lament for her by the ruins. She beat the drum for her in the assembled places. She circled the houses of the gods. She tore at her eyes, she tore at her mouth, she tore at her thighs. She dressed herself in a single garment like a beggar. Alone she set out from the Pur and the temple of Enlil. And when she entered the holy shrine, she cried out, O father Enlil, do not let your daughter be put to death in the underworld. Do not let your bright silver be covered with dust in the underworld. Do not let your precious lapis be broken into stone for the stone worker. And do not let your fragment boxwood be cut into wood for the woodworker. Do not let the holy priestess of the heaven be put to death in the underworld. Father Enlil answered angrily, My daughter craved the great above, and Inanna craved the great below. She who receives the me of the underworld does not return. She who goes to the dark city stays there. Father Enlil would not help. He gave the food of life to the Kugara. He gave the water of life to the Gulater, saying, Go to the underworld, into the doors like flies. Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld, is moaning with the cries of a woman about to give birth. No linen is spread on her body. Her breasts are uncovered. Her hair swells about her head like leaves. When she cries, Oh, 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 my inside, cry also, Oh, 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 your inside. And when she cries, Oh, oh, my outside, cry also, Oh, oh, our outside. The queen will be pleased. She will offer you a gift. Ask her only for the corpse that hangs from the hook on the wall. One of you will sprinkle the food of life on it. The other will sprinkle the water of life. And Inanna will rise. The Kuragara and the Kulagara headed Inky's words. They set out for the underworld. Like flies, they slipped through the cracks of the gate. They entered the throne room of the queen of the underworld. No linen was spread on her body. Her breast was uncovered. Her hair swirled around her head like leeks. Evisceral was moaning, Oh, oh, my inside. They moaned, Oh, oh, your inside. She moaned, Oh, oh, my outside. They moaned, Oh, oh, our outside. She groaned, oh, oh, my belly. They groaned, oh, oh, your belly. She groaned, oh, oh, my back. They groaned, oh, oh, your back. They said, no one ascends into the underworld unmarked. If Inanna wishes to return from the underworld, she must provide someone in her place. And as Inanna ascended from the underworld, the Gala, the demons of the underworld, clung to her side. The Gala were demons who know no food, who know no drink, who eat no offerings, who drink no libations, who accept no gifts. They enjoy no love making, and they have no sweet children to kiss. They tear the wife from the husband's arm. They tear the child from the father's knee. They steal the bride from her marriage home. The demons clung to Inanna. The small gala who accompanied Inanna were like reeds the size of low picket fences. The large gala who accompanied Inanna were like reeds the size of large picket fences. The one who walked in front of Inanna was not a minister, yet he carried a scepter. The one who walked behind her was not a warrior, yet he carried a mace. Nishabur, dressed in a soiled sackcloth, waited outside the palace gates. When she saw Inanna surrounded by the gala, she threw herself in the dust at Inanna's foot. The Gala said, walk on, Inanna. We shall make Nishabur in your place. Inanna cried, no, Nishabur is my constant support. She is my suko who gives me wise advice. She is my warrior who fights by my side. She does not forget my words. She set up a lament for me by the ruins. She beat the drum for me by the assembly place. Walk on to your city, Inanna. We will go with you to the big apple tree in Uruk. In Uruk, by the big apple tree, the Muzi, the husband of Inanna, was dressed in his shining meek garments. He sat on his magnificent throne. He did not move. The Gala seized him by the thighs. They poured milk out of his seven churns. They broke the reed pipe which the shepherd was playing. Inanna fastened on Dumuzi the eye of death. She spoke against him the word of wrath. She uttered against him the cry of guilt. Take him away. Take Dumuzi away. The Gala, who know no food, who know no drink, who eat no offerings, who drink no libations, who accept no gifts, seized Dumuzi. They made him stand up. They made him sit down. They beat the husband of Inanna. They gashed him with axes. Dumuzi let out a wail. He raised his hand to heaven to Utu, the god of justice, and beseeched him. Oh, Utu, you are my brother in law. I am the husband of your sister. I brought cream to your mother's house. I brought milk to Ningal's house. I am the one who carried food to the holy shrine. I am the one who brought wedding gifts to Uruk. I am the one who danced on the holy knees, the knees of Inanna. Utu, who are just a God, a merciful God. Change my hands into the hands of a snake. Change my feet into the feet of a snake. Let me escape from my demons. Do not let them hold me. The merciful Utu accepted the Muzi's tears. He changed the hands of the Muzi into snake hands. He changed the feet of the Muzi into snake feet. The Muzi escaped from the demons. They could not hold him. So it was a choppy book. It was choppy because they had broken pieces of the text. It was broken. So the book was broken. So it has different parts that it'll have, different parts that it won't have. And that right there was just them talking about how Inanna went to the underworld and was captured there by her own sister. How Enlil saved her and helped her get out, and how Inky wouldn't help her get out. Okay, so now that was the end of that reading. So I'm going to end my stream here